Psychology is all about the interaction between what we feel and physical responses. This is especially true for emotions. Emotional theory is a core study of psychology. Remember that our definition of psychology is the scientific study of biological, emotional, and mental processes. But that doesn't mean psychologists agree on how our emotions work or what triggers them in our brains. Here we examine 4 key theories on how our brains process emotions.
The James Lange theory states that arousal comes before emotion. In other words, an emotion-triggering event, say a big dog jumping at you, makes you jump and your heart starts to beat faster. Only after your brain registers these physiological responses does it pair with an emotion, in this case, fear. The Cannon-Bard theory, on the other hand, says that emotion and arousal occur at the same time. If this is the case, the big dog simultaneously triggers physical responses and mental or emotional responses.
But what support do we have for each of these? Studies of patients with spinal cord injuries show that emotions such as fear and anger seem less intense when we can't feel bodily responses, such as an increase in heart rate. This supports the James Lange theory. However, supporters of the Cannon-Bard theory can counter that many emotions, such as fear, anger, and nervousness, trigger the same physical responses. Therefore, there must be at least some mental element to emotion that is independent of physiological responses.
The Schachter-Singer two-factor theory claims that emotions are felt not only after a physical response, but after our brain consciously labels the response. Emotion is a product of how we think. This can also lead to something called the spillover effect. Say, from our earlier example, a dog frightens you as you're walking down the street. After you calm yourself and continue walking, your brain may be more likely to interpret a door opening down the street or a suspicious car sitting on the curb with fear, because it has already been primed to sense danger. Emotion is not always processed consciously. However, the theories of Zejonc-Ledoux and Lazarus emphasize that emotion is not always preceded by interpretation. This is especially true for emotions such as fear, which trigger the fight or flight response in our brains and gives us a faster, possibly life-saving reaction that does not require conscious thought. Ultimately, all of these theories come together to show that emotion is the product of physical reactions, conscious recognition, and a subconscious reaction.